Hello everybody and welcome back. Because of technical problems, I used my regular mobile phone to do the first part of the painting progress video, but as I forgot my charging cable, I had to use the replacement cable, but this allows me only to charge but not to transfer data. So all of the first parts files are locked on the other mobile phone, and I could only do an upload on our Facebook Dice Hammer. So if you'd like to check it out, all you have to do is send a friend's request. These were the models I finished from April to June. The Army Commander as well as 5 of the Incubi, followed by several warriors, including a Dark Lance as well as a Splinter Cannon, and of course the Beast Master and several Warp Beasts. And I also managed to do the Raider, at least I failed to do the Ravager. Instead of the Ravager I did this one, the Eclipse, Elder Corsair vessel I need for the Battlefleet Gothic 1000 point against Chaos playlist. So this one might be a project worked on in July, the gap month, which I've already lost the first 10 days of, and in a moment I'll show you the other models I'm planning to complete in the gap month. So these are all leftovers from previous months. If you took a glance at my painting order, I had lots of things I expected myself to do. From my January project, the Wood Elves, I only managed to do some Dryads and a character. And so this is one of January's leftovers, 12 beautiful, I think they're 3rd or 4th edition Wood Elf Archers, metal models. I like them very much, and I think painting faces is difficult, so there's at least a week of work, concentrated work, after work left before I got them finished. And the Raven Wing one out of my 3 ones, but I wanted to look I wanted them to look a little different, so I removed this driver and added a really old Space Marine instead. The Ravenwing Landspeeder was part, or should have been part, of February to March painting order, I think, together with Death World Plants, where I only managed to do a single test squad Rogue Trader model, and I think 2 cool, one Empire Outrider and 1 Empire Warrior Priest. And of course from the April to June painting order, this one, the Ravager, is left from my Dark Elder painting projects. And in the back you can see Nutstrike. The model itself wasn't ready, I only attached the arms because we wanted to play the final of the Storm of Vengeance campaign, but the paint job isn't finished. Sorry for the bad pics. At the moment I'm using my old mobile phone, which I have charged in the meantime, but it's 9 years old. So, okay. But before I can spend some of the 2.5 remaining weeks on doing them, I will have to do something else first, which I show you in a moment. Even if I painted every single minute, it wouldn't be enough because there's so much to be done. So some time ago I realized I had a problem and therefore sent models to professional painters. I was so happy with the result of Josh's Dreadnought, the Bad Moon Dreadnought hit it for me, including a great freehand banner. And the Warphead with the Minders, of course. I decided to send more Bad Moons to Japan, to Evilet, and these are the models. I think I'll... It's a beautiful old one, Rogue Trader. And you should be able to use this one as a Warlord or Big Boss, or maybe just only as a Nob. And we've got 8 troopers. Special thing about them is, I think, because they're very rich, the Bad Moons, each of them can carry a special weapon. And I've got lots of original arm sprues and even several different weapon sprues left. The only problem will be to clean them, clean metal as well as plastic parts, and to do a removal of molding lines before I can send them to Japan. And I'll have to add something special from Bavaria, some Bavarian herbs as well, of course. So this character should go together with the 8 guys and 1 special weapon. Josh has already done 2 great artillery or support weapons for me. This is one of the last ones. And I'll add 3 really old, because I've got all of the different support weapon crew Gretchen painted, either by myself or by Josh. I'll add 3 really old ones. They are referred to as runs. Hope you can read it. Yeah, runs. The Rogue Trader ones. And I'll let Josh choose which 2 of them he'll paint to go together as a crew with this support weapon. But I will keep this one so that I've got the impression of having painted part of the Bad Moons myself before maybe starting some tribe wars one day, because I've got Goths as well as Death Skulls, lots of my Blood Eggs, and I've even got some Evil Sons. I've got some Snake Bites on foot, as well as I think there's at least 1 tribe left. No, I don't have freebooters, but I think I've forgotten. I'll look it up. So these are the minis to be sent to Josh, but it'll take some time. I think this will be 2 Saturday evenings, because it takes some time to remove all of the old paint, to find the arms, to trim the edges and stuff like that. Okay, and there's a second parcel to be sent to Munich containing one of the following 5 armies. Number 1, here we've got the Deathwing. Those of you who watched most of our recent battle reports might have noticed a 2000 point battle report whose army lists were written by Carnifex, a friend of ours, and I thought I wanted to demonstrate how superior the Lightning Claw was over Power Fist, because it does multiple wounds. But we ended up slaughtering each other, and it was nice to watch. But all of these models, unfortunately, were unpainted. Together with a Tech Marine as well as a Land Raider, I think this force was 2000 points, only 18 models, but some of the oldest medals I own. When I first went to Britain at the age of 16 to Weymouth, I bought some blisters and 2 boxed sets. One of the box sets were 10 Tactical Space Marines, the Blood Angels ones, and the second one was the Deathwing Squad, and I really liked it. I think it came with a heavy flamer, which I have disposed of, unfortunately. And later on, and I bought them, of course, because during my trip I bought the first 3 novels. Back then there were only 3 novels available: Space Marine, Inquisitor, and Chaos Child maybe, or Harlequin later on. And one of them contained a collection of short stories, and Deathwing was among them, so I really needed to have these models. And then when I came back, I mail-ordered back then, it's a kind of challenge for us, mail-ordered original Deathwing Terminator bodies, and back then there were no chapter-specific close combat arms. So I just ordered No Name, Lightning Claws, and Thunderhammer and Storm Shield, which means lots of freehands will have to be done. And the main problem is, I like them very much, but if you vote this army number 1, the Deathwing, to be sent to Munich, I have a problem, because I've only got 1 transfer sheet for the army badge and the other Deathwing stuff which has to be applied. I can't expect a Patrick to do 500 freehands which look similar. So let's see if it works out. So this is my first 1000 and around 1500 point army, which might be sent to Munich if you vote for the Deathwing. Okay, army number 2, or detachment number 2, another 1500 point force, the Imperial Guard. I got quite a huge Imperial Guard, including 1 of the armor cast Titans. I kept 3 armor cast tanks, 12 or 13 other tanks, and 5 platoons, 3 Rogue Trader ones, 1 of the Armageddon Steel Legion, which is shown right now, and I've also got 1 of the Cadian ones, including even Castlekin, all of them with additional units and HQs and stuff like that. It's a huge army. Only part of it is assembled, most of it is still in boxes or even blisters, even from the Rogue Trader time. And I've neglected it so far because Alex beautifully painted, let's say 2,500 or maybe even 3,000 point strong force of the Imperial Guard during Corona times, which consists of 2nd edition models only. So, the force I'd maybe like to send to Munich, if you vote for this force, is the platoon of Imperial Guard Armageddon Steel Legion. I've got a command HQ consisting of 2 weapon teams, missile launchers. 1 of the loaders has got a comlink as well, I bought separately. We've got 1 lieutenant, great models, but they only came out in the 3rd edition, I think. So therefore they are a little taller, sometimes as tall as Space Marines. Then we've got 2 regular squads, 1 of them including a sergeant with a chainsword and a plasma gun as a special weapon. The other one, a sergeant with a chainsword, but a guardsman with a grenade launcher as the special weapon, and both of them have got heavy bolters. To do some real damage, we've got a heavy weapon squad as well, including 2 las cannons and another missile launcher. So these are heavy siege troops combined with, back then we often played when we were kids without the Imperial Guard abilities. Without them they are rather an average army, but if you include the veteran upgrades such as Slick Crew or maybe Dead Eye Shots, you can make them elite units capable of wiping out the Eldar, Tyranids, Space Marines or stuff like that. So these, I think, are forces to be deployed if you really want to deny an objective to the enemy. We've got 3 squads, so therefore we've got 3 additional slots in the Imperial Army deployment, and 2 of them are Lehman Russ Demolishers. One of them is already assembled, the other one is waiting to be assembled, and the 3rd slot goes to a squad of incredibly expensive points-wise Ogrins, but they are few of the close combat fighters in the Imperial Guard. I've got some Rogue Trader Rough Riders, they are cool close combat fighters, and sometimes command squads, but not this one because of its heavy weapons. If you've got command squads joined by a commissar, and if you give them the veteran ability, I think it's hardened fighters, they may re-roll fumbles, you can equip them with power swords and flames and stuff like that. The other alternative is to use some Ogrins. They are really great, I like the old models. This is an army I could send to Munich because all of them have been cleaned, assembled. You won't need any transfer sheets. I'd only have to assemble the second Lehman Russ Demolisher and to discolor them because I either tried to prime them or I got them this way back then, but it's around at least 20 years ago. And then this unit is around 1,500 point strong detachment of Imperial Guard could be sent to Patrick from Silver Ear. Number 3, here we've got the Space Wolves. Another neglected army of mine because we've got so many Space Marines. To be honest, I started with the Blood Angels and gave them away later on, maybe 2 years after having started the hobby, to Alex. I'm really relieved and proud that he kept all of my models, although I think the first tactical squad I painted was rubbish, as well as the Rhino. But he still got my first Blood Angel Space Marine Captain, which I tried to make look as close as possible to one depicted on the 2nd edition box or boxed set. So when I got rid of the Blood Angels, I bought some Space Wolves, and this is about a quarter of my Space Wolf army. And these should be, depending on the walkie cards dealt and the other equipment, should be around 1,500 points, because there's only a Tech Priest, which I need to include some of the tanks, Dreadnought, or the attack bike, or the land speeder. This is a really old model I like very much. If you vote this army, I'll equip a plastic 2nd edition jump pack to make him more agile. These 2 characters are followed by the cool, back then Games Workshop produced 3 of them, I've got 2 of them, Scout Squad Leaders, and they are really cool. Bionic Eye, Shuriken Catapult. I've got a punch dagger over there and a strange weapon. Don't know what it is. Last Stand, Space Wolf Scout, and this one with a horn. They really look archaic, and I think they fit well into the Space Wolves. And then we've got, same as with Deathwing, later on I started to buy original Wolf God bodies and some of the No Chapter arms to include some Thunderhammer and Storm Shields, as well as Lightning Claws into my Wolf God. I got around 15 of them, but I think for a small army of 1,500 points, and I've got a painted, I think I bought a painted Niall the Stormcrawler, and Alex presented me with a tank, and I think I bought another tank, so I should have around 2,000 points if you choose this army. We've got a land speeder, we've got an attack bike, we've got a combat squad of the Bloodclaws, the youngest of the Space Marines, following their time fighting as scouts. We've got a combat squad, including the beautiful leader model of the Grey Hunters, as well as, that's not a combat squad, that's special about the Longfangs or the Space Wolves in 2nd edition. They were able to use a squad of 5 heavy weapons, 4 of them being able to carry a heavy weapon, which makes them a little cheaper than regular Devastator or heavy weapon squads in Space Marines in 2nd edition. If you vote for this one, well, I won't be disappointed, because it'll be a pain in the ass to find all the transfer sheets, but there's nearly nothing, there's nearly no color to be removed. I'll have to spend some time finding the missing arms. I've got lots of spare arm sprues, weapon sprues, broken arms and stuff left, so it'll be easy. Shoulder pads, backpacks and stuff like that. So I think it'll only take me about 1 week before I can get all of it ready, put in a parcel to be sent away to Munich. Army number 4, Torah the Elder. Another neglected army, because Alex has got a huge Elder force. Most of them painted by himself, beautifully painted. Lots of striking scorpions, holding banshees, dire avengers, and stuff like that. So technically we don't need an Elder force. On the other hand, I'd like to do some minor scenarios, including a largely Guardian force. So therefore, for 1,500 points, I'd like to see one of my favorite Warlock models. The other one is the one with his hands resting upon the sword straight down, with a bodyguard of 5 Wraith Guard. And then we've got 5 scouts, the old models, 3 squads of Guardians, and wow, they are so great. Look at the samurai or ninja one pointing at the enemy. A mixture of shuriken catapults and las guns, heavy weapons. Well, I think I've spent 50 to 60 euros for heavy weapon sprues or weapon sprues and arm sprues for the Elder alone on eBay, plus taxes, plus transfer. Then we've got another one which hasn't been completed yet, but I've got enough arms and weapons left. And the third one, I wanted to do an assault or close combat squad of Guardians, including different weapons like the rare Elder Power Fist, Power Sword, Shuriken Pistol and stuff like that. And as you can see, one of the models of the month minis painted by Patrick. So the whole army might end up being Yanden, and they've got heavy support. They don't have Aspect Warriors, but they've got a Viper, cool Dreadnought, Warwalker, and even a Falcon at 1,500 points. So there's no arms to be bought on eBay, only metal to be discolored before I could send this army away. No transfer sheets needed, so I think I don't want to influence, or I don't want to tell you which army to choose, but I'd be really glad if you chose the Elder to be sent to Munich. Finally, we've got the 5th detachment, which might be sent away to Munich to be painted. And these are the squads. I like the squads very much compared to the Wotan stuff, somewhat like I dislike. Okay, this around 1,500 point strong force consists of a warlord, a living ancestor or ancestor lord, standard bearer, and an engineer guildmaster, followed by a combat squad, including some really old models, and the one test model I did in February. I think they've got frag and crack grenades, bolt pistols, stuff like that. And then I've got 2 heavy squads, Thunderers. The Thunderer squads were allowed to take, didn't know it until I looked it up, either heavy or special weapons. So there's one squad of heavy weapons only, including an old Bob Ollie model, really cool ones, and a squad composed singly of special weapon wielding guys, 3 plasma guns, although their use in or their effects in 2nd edition are quite limited because of their only -1 armor penetration, a flamer and a melter. And then I've got a regular warrior squad, including 1 heavy weapon. We've got 2 heavy weapon trikes to be able to replace a wounded or killed gunner. It's a separate model. We've got 1 thud gun, and we've got 5 bikes, which could take flamers, all of them, or maybe even power fists for hit and run attacks. And these are 1,500 points of squads. I like them very much, but to be honest, I wouldn't be that happy if you voted for them, because getting arms for them is a pain in the ass. Discoloring metal as well as plastic models will be quite difficult, and although it's one of the armies we haven't painted yet, I think Chris has got 2 armies inbound. Chris is quite a fast painter, so I think he's got a guild force inbound as well as another one, maybe based on the Black Codex, maybe based on the Inquisitor one. I think we might have several painted squads within several weeks, months, or within 2 years. Okay, my squads are back in their stronghold on their homeworld. As you can see, the others will have to wait. The other 2/3 probably, including a rapier and stuff like that, for them to be painted, which will take at least another 15 years. So, it's up to you. You may choose, and as most of you either have a YouTube account or are members of our Facebook 2nd edition Warhammer 40k group, we'll do votes in both places. So if you're lucky, you can vote twice. From the video being released, you'll have 2 weeks to vote for one of these 5 armies. So we've got the Armageddon Steel Legion, we've got the Elder, we've got the Squads, we've got the Space Wolves, and the other army. So please feel free to leave your vote. It'll be sent away, but the first army or detachment I'll work on to get it inside a parcel will be the Orcs, of course, because I don't know which one you'll vote, so I can send the Orcs off to Japan while concentrating on all of the leftovers from the earlier painting months. Thanks for watching. Bye.